My name is Jordan Farmer, and this is Uncommon Conversations. And I have a returning guest today, Charles Gardner, aka Synergy Strength, aka Synergy Lion, and we're gonna have a dope conversation for you guys. Just gonna be waiting in this wonderful little live for him to get here. Hopefully, he'll be here soon. And once he does, we'll get after it. Hello. Got a lot of crazy news this week. Obviously, we have the Nancy Pelosi Taiwan situation. We have Biden declaring monkeypox a national emergency. There you are. Hey,
Hello.
man. How's it going?
It's going. I knew I needed to be here, so I was like, I just finished the live, my own personal live about 30 minutes ago. It's Fitness Friday. It's just a new thing that I'm doing. I'm gonna do it every Friday at 4. So, I figure I need to at least give the people an opportunity to answer some questions, talk to me a little bit, get to know me. I haven't promoted a lot of things that I'm doing currently. I just want people to get to know me. I'm not necessarily worried about. I'll handle that on the back end later.
Right on. Well, I'm happy you came. I'm happy you still had enough energy to want to come and do this. Enough synergy left, and
Well,
I'm happy you came in. I missed you. We haven't talked in a while, other than the brief one, the other live I did the other day, but we didn't really get to get deep into anything. So I'm glad you came.
it's been it's been a while. Um, Lots of stuff is going on in the background over the past. Mm,
8 months,
yeah, I guess it's been that long, huh?
basically this year.
Yeah, basically this year, lots of stuff's going on. Had a lot of business trauma. We'll just call it that. Uh,
That's a word for it.
well, I mean, you know, but I don't want to go too deep into it. Let's just say um, it forced me to really take a step back and evaluate what it is I'm doing and what what I should be doing, where I need to put my focus on. What are the things that are important, not only for my people, but also for my business development. Um, so that's just kind of a. I know you're going to have a host of questions, so I don't want to jump anything.
Well,
Um,
we could just start if you want to unpack that more. If you want to, we can hop into other stuff if you'd rather not. But yeah, man, I'd love to get the
uh,
breakdown on what you've been dealing with and
uh,
what you've been doing.
okay, well, um, I guess I have to say, kind of a lot of things happened during the during that 8 months. I had some, like I said, business trauma. Lots of things happened with the business. Um, things got things have
Are you
been.
still at the same location?
Um, no, I'm at some different gyms now. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Had to make some changes. Nothing against the individuals that I was working with before, the locations that I was working before. There were just some things that were out of my control, that I was unable to do. Um, Obligations that I personally was not able to meet due to other factors. So I had to, as they say, move on to other pastures.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Well, some of those pastures brought you to Texas, from what I saw. I saw that you made a trip out there, I think to Austin, somewhat recently. How was that? How'd that
that,
go?
that was actually last year. No, maybe in February. I have to go back and look on that post of when that was. That was actually a computer engineer out in Austin that I'm friends with, and he wanted me to come out and do some stuff with him, help him build some things out for his training and whatnot. So he took care of me on on that end.
That's
So
good.
I did all right with that. So I try to stay in contact with him as much as possible. He's a busy guy. He does real estate, software engineering, so he's very busy. Um, so I'm lucky if I can get in, and I know the guy. so
Well, there
it,
you go.
so that's what it is sometimes. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed that cross country drive in my Forerunner. Um, I got to stop.
That's actually that's actually really cool. My brother has a Forerunner as well. He's a big Forerunner guy, and that's actually what he used to help me move to Oklahoma. Uh, we went through Utah, then to Oklahoma and back, and it was an old Forerunner. So that's pretty cool.
What was the year?
I think it's like a '97.
Oh wow! So he's got a ton of miles on that thing.
Yeah, like 300K,
Mm-hmm.
right
Love.
around there.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not getting rid of this. I'm not getting rid of this. No.
No, they're good vehicles, and it's honestly with the way things are looking now, you're better off just replacing the engine and replacing everything that falls off of it rather than getting a whole new vehicle. Because even the used car market is still pretty big. It's not quite. I think the peak has come off a bit, but it's still pretty crazy. Still pretty expensive.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's cool. And so from California to Oklahoma, that's about 1,500 miles, isn't it?
Yep, yep, just about. It was maybe more like 1900 because we went to Utah first and then came here on the way here, and then it was more of a straight shot back. But yeah, it was a long trip. It was a long trip, pretty intense. And I got an injury, so to speak, not an injury, but a boo boo from that. That we have some steel at this apartment. We have some steel stairs that go up. It's kind of like a grate,
Yeah.
and I tripped and went knee first into the grate, and it took a nice little chunk out of my knee. And it's just fully closed up, and it's like just a little bit of scar tissue, about 3-4 centimeter or 3-4 millimeters wide now. But it was a whole little flap on my knee that came up. It was some fun times. And so I've been working on healing that just as I can. But it was cool. It was a great trip. It was really good, and I was really fortunate to have someone like to have my brother that could help me with that. And we it was a hell of a trip, but we made it through, and we definitely bonded over the trauma. um,
Got you.
but yeah,
So
man, have you been able to do any? Or go ahead.
how you liking the Central Time Zone?
I like it. I like it. I haven't had too much sort of happen that has made it like meaningful. I haven't had much that's happened that's sort of brought that to bear in any way. Actually, that's not entirely true. It's been more convenient actually because I'm more of a later person. So other people are getting off work and they schedule their stuff, and I'm like, I got plenty of time. I don't have to worry about that at all. So I'm enjoying it. I've always kind of wondered, I've known a lot of people from the East Coast and stuff, and then obviously you, and mostly I've thought about it in terms of watching UFC pay-per-views and been like, man, you guys got to stay up late to watch those things because they don't finish till midnight, 1 o'clock. But but yeah, it's been cool. I really enjoy it. I really love Oklahoma.
I
Any
mean,
state that's pro weed and pro gun is my people, so I'm right at home.
okay, okay. Well, I'm in
They
the
take their
Central.
freedom seriously here, and they're very, very pro-life. So that's a third check on the list, of states that I like. So yeah,
Well, that works. I said I'm in the Central Time Zone, so that's why it's easy for us to make this meeting. I don't have to be up,
yep,
and he's over here at 2:30. If I forget, or if he's at 3:30, then it's really 5:30 my time. If you say it's 5:30, it's gonna be 5:30. You say it's
yep,
gonna be 4:30. I know exactly what time I need to be, on task. A couple of things have changed. If you notice, you see some things lined up back here, right? Okay.
yep.
Um, well, a couple of those,
Certifications.
yeah, a couple of those upgrades. I don't know. I think it's the top one here. That's a exercise therapist certification. Managed to get that after about a year and a half, almost 2 years um, of study with the ISSA on that. So um, that
Congratulations, man. I know it's not easy.
yeah,
They don't give those out to anybody, so I know you're definitely, I don't know. I know you did the work, so good on you. Congratulations.
I'm thinking about doing a hat trick though. Um, and I'm just kind of there's some things that I need to handle from a financial end before I do that. I know a lot of people be like, "Well, no, just go ahead and get it." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." There's some there's some debts that need to be paid because, like I said, this goes back to some things that happened from the business side of things. And I think for the hat trick, I'm trying to debate which masters I want. Do I want to do sports science? Do I want to do exercise science? Do I want to do kinesiology? Do I want? I'm debating. There's a ton of them
Mm.
out, and if I do it, it'll be the capper. It'll just be me putting the cap on everything. Um, I'll still keep those current, even though I may have. Um, even though even though I won't necessarily need them at that point. It'll just be like, oh, okay, those are just like little bonuses.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just
Well,
something.
if you're deciding based off of what sounds the most impressive, definitely kinesiology is the way to go. It just sounds fancy.
I could care less about the fanciness sounding of something.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just like, okay, which one would be the most? What can I use it for? How would it
What's
would
the
it?
most lucrative?
What type of benefit would I get out of it? Outside of just saying that I have it, would
Yeah.
that put put me in a more in a position where I could ask for more money? Sure, it probably would. Does that mean that I'm guaranteed to get it? No. It may, that's just kind of the thing. That's something that I've learned that I've got to ask myself a little bit more. Like, okay, well, I have this, but what is it doing for me? What is it doing for me? What is this just feeding an ego? How can I flip this into a some sort of monetary gain, or how will this benefit others, which will lead to monetary gain? So
Yeah.
that's how you have to look at things. Um, I could, uh, I, I, I want to tell the story, but I'm not quite ready to tell the story as far as what's going on in the background, because a lot of people would go, well, that doesn't that that's odd. Um, so at some
We'll
point
leave that for another day then.
we'll get into it. I might tell you about it on a private line, and you'll go, oh yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
see why you may have not wanted to get into it. But what? Because I know you may have had some questions about certain things. You flatter, dude. You go so hard with the titles, experience, knowledge. I'm like, well, I mean, no.
Well,
I
you're the last person to brag about yourself, so I got to counterbalance. The universe always has to find balance, equal and opposite reaction type stuff. So, but yeah,
okay.
man, you may not believe it, but you are a king. There is no question about that, and you bring a lot of value to the table. I've seen some of the reviews of your work that you've put on your stuff, and I could just tell because I know enough about the industry to tell just from the way you look and the way you're built that you put in a lot of work and you know what you're doing. And I'm probably one of the few people that follows your stuff now that has looked back far enough to see the old bodybuilding pictures. So I know there's a whole lot behind all that is value to be brought. So yeah, if
Well,
I'm flattering you, then
yeah,
it's just from truth, brother. It's just from truth.
you know, not a, like I said, that was That's going on almost 20 years ago now. So like I've been doing this thing for a very long time, and I'm I'm at a point now where it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to have to start teaching people more. Yes, I can I can help you build the body that you may want to build. I can help you accomplish the goals that you want to go with. But there's, and that's a part of the process. But um, I've run into some former students here in my city, you know, and all of them, the vast majority of them are business owners now. And when they see me, they're like, "Hey, Coach Gardner. Hey, Mr. Gardner. Hey, how you doing?" Um, and I'm like, I mean, when I say they are business owners, I mean these guys. They're in their 30s now. They're in their 30s now. It's been that long. They're driving Beamers. They're driving Benzes. They own uh, two and three barbershops, or they're motivational speakers and they were just in town and they're getting paid to fly in. And I'm like, well, where'd you learn that? And they're like, I took your weight training class, and I took your intro to A class, and I took it, and you always on me about. I'm going, oh, didn't know I did that. I was just trying to, motivate you to do the coursework. I didn't, you know, I didn't know it was, well, you didn't know we were going to take it this far. I said, yeah, I really didn't. but,
That's funny,
I'm,
man.
but I'm glad, you're where you are.
Yeah.
And, and I made you better.
Yeah. It's always good to see people find success and know you were a part of it. You contributed to it. You gave them some value along the way.
Yeah,
Not that it's ultimately their credit, it's them that did it. They did the work, but it's always good to be a part of helping someone and lifting somebody up in that way. So,
yes. And one of the things that I was talking to another buddy about it was, you when you see someone who's successful, whether you know them or not, give them for what they do. It takes a lot of work to be successful, no matter where that level is. Um,
mhm.
and if you're helping somebody, genuinely help that person. Don't put your thumb on the scale in order to keep that person dependent on you. Set
Yeah.
them in a position where they can actually fly,
Yeah.
or they're in a better position than what they were. Um, I've had some experiences recently, and I'm thinking about, this person has this person been as have these people been as helpful as they claimed they were, or they were going to be? And I'm evaluating that now. Because if I was genuinely helping you accomplish something, I would be like, okay, go to this person over here and tell them what you want to do and take it from there. But this is the person who's going to catapult you, or who I believe is going to catapult you and move you into a better position. Like, take for instance, if I knew a very popular podcaster personally, like I had this dude in my phone, I would be like, okay, dude, I'm gonna hit you up on the DM side. I'm gonna give you this guy's number, and he's gonna tell you how to make your podcast better. He's gonna
Mhm.
how to get the studio right, put up the soundproof boarding, how to set up all that stuff so your presentation is 100,
Yeah.
and all of that. Action.
Not that you're necessarily saying all this for me, but it definitely applies to me. I know I gotta up my game in that arena, and I definitely will take any and all advice and direction I can get, because I'm with the stuff I've studied and I've spent a lot of time on. I have a lot of value to bring, but when it comes to learning how to impress people and really caring about the is weird. I stunted my own growth in a weird way because I was so disconcerted with the opinions of others that I was not as I haven't been as conscientious about bringing value to the customer and seeing things from the customer side of things, so to speak. With all this content I've been doing, I'm kind of like I bring the substance, I bring the nerdy shit, and beyond that, I'm just kind of because that was what I was after the whole time, and the polishing I saw and it was cool, but I also listened to people that weren't so polished because they had good things to say. But it matters for sure, and it's and you gotta there's an art to it, like you were sort of referencing with the not wanting to make people dependent, but the counterbalance to that is you do want to make sure you're getting a fair exchange of value for your time and your investment. If you just give people all the goods and then they dip and they're gone, and you got $5 in the interim, you kind of got you can get robbed in those types of situations. And
Right.
it's a weird with an agreeable person. There's a pull and push and pull there that you got to find out for yourself where the right mix is, and it's interesting. Um,
I'm
but
gonna I'm
yeah,
gonna label it something, and this may get out. You may well you can tag you can tag them. I kind of call it the Tom McDonald syndrome. I'm gonna coin that
mm,
in the sense that you're people like yourself, him, me, we're fiercely independent individuals. We don't, and we're what we do we consider art. So we're married to it in the sense that you know we you know we love what we do, and it's not so much about the money per se, but we understand that the money is needed in order to do things. And so it's like you said, it's finding that balance between um, making money, not ripping people off, being fair, being profitable, and not losing the focus on the art of
yeah,
what. And that is very tricky to do when you have a heart that wants to give, when you have a
yeah.
heart that wants to help or whatever. It goes to what Jordan Peterson talks about being. You mentioned it being agreeable. Highly agreeable people don't get raises. Highly agreeable people don't move up in the corporate world because they just agree to everything. Because
They're not a great self advocate. They're not very assertive.
right, right. And the thing about it is though, when when you decide to become assertive, it throws people. They're like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what is that?
Who are you?
Who are you at?" And and because it takes so much energy from you
Ain't
to
that the truth?
to to be aggressive, to be assertive, it drains you. It literally just and you're done. You're fried. And it takes a while for you to find your center because you're generally a easy kill and level-headed person. And when people pull that out of you, it's I'm gonna use this, and this is gonna be geeky and nerdy as all get out. It's kind of like when Goku learns a new form.
It's true though. It's true. That's dead on.
He
Yes.
can he can only hold it for so long at first, and it just drains him. That's it. He can only do it for like X amount of time, and that's it. He's done. There's no more. He goes all the way back to non-glowing hair Goku immediately, and it takes everything out of him, you know. And that's what happens with people like yourself, me, and um, I don't say Tom that way, and other people. I know lots of people like this, and um, yeah, that's generally what happens, and it
I
shocks me.
also I also think we're kind of programmed in our society to see capitalism as icky and to see economic ambition as icky, mostly because people that are just obsessed with that will compromise other values, they'll betray people. But once I started thinking about the things in terms of fair exchange of value and saying, okay, I know the value I'm bringing. What would I pay? What would I be willing to pay to get that from someone else, assuming I didn't have it? But I knew and I could gauge more or less what the value was worth. And that puts it all in a much better perspective. For people like us that are more agreeable, it's better to put things in terms of other people and outside of ourselves to get a better assessment, because it's very easy to want to give and feel uncomfortable taking. Um, so that's absolutely normal, and it's yeah, when you, and especially when you are committed to the value of the work itself, like you genuinely enjoy making people a better version of themselves physically and imbuing them with understanding about what it is they're doing, instead of just saying, come to me, pay me, I'll tell you what to do, and that's it. I want people to be out there as capable of engaging in political conversation as I am, so that there's a whole army of us trying to attack all these problems rather than just me here leading the charge by myself. But at the end of the day, you even if you want that, you also have to assess, is that realistic? Is that what the real world is like? So there's definitely something to be done there. Real quick side note, and then we'll take it from there. Have you done any other traveling in the last year or so? Have you been able to get around the states a bit?
No, just that Texas trip, and it was back here to Alabama. Um, I
How's Alabama?
Alabama's hot.
Dude, it's been hot as hell here. We had 110, 111 degree days back to back to back to back. We had like 2 days below 100, and it bounced right back up. So, uh,
It's a hot
so
one.
I feel we've been feeling it here too.
Well, yeah, we had a heat wave, 100 degrees, 100 degrees. It's just like, oh man, this is insane. This is nuts. But it's summertime. I keep trying to tell people, look, it's summertime. Your SUV, your dually on a lift kit with the Flowmasters, that's not causing the sun to be hot. The sun always been hot. It ain't not ever gonna be hot. So, so you just, and I know that was horrible English, but I murdered that whole syntax and string. But it's all, the sun is always going to be
No,
hot, no matter what
yeah,
it
it's
tells you.
it's the essential truth. Yeah, I do believe that I do believe that global warming is a real phenomenon, and it's a mixture of natural trends and systems, and then some exaggerated behaviors based off of humans. But 2/3 of all the emissions in the United States is just from factories. So the idea that we living our lives as regular consumers are hurting anything or doing a lot, it's not that big of a deal. And then when you go outside the United States, it's a whole different deal. And it's to try to look at one metric like CO2 and then assess global warming trends with this complex climate system is just, there's a lot of jumps in faith and a lot of gaps in their logic that they jump straight into. I'm still so solution oriented that I went all the way down the rabbit hole and figured out how to actually fix all this stuff, and not just the bullshit control mechanisms and enslavement of the masses that they're trying to push now. But you know,
Well, see,
it,
I
you're
look
still
at
playing the game a little bit with that, but that's I'm playing the game.
I I look at it and I go, okay, let's think about this for a second. Depending on, and now we're gonna go full science nerd, with a little bit of religious theory, if it will, because it just depends on where you are on the religious scale with this. But whether you believe in young Earth creation theory or evolution,
Mm.
um, you know, okay, so let's play on the second one here. let's say that okay, evolution is a real thing, and Earth's been around for billions of years or whatever, right? Okay, um, and the sun been around for about the same amount of time. All right. Um, that would mean that the Earth has gotten hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold for a very long time before people even popped up on the scene. Um, if you're going to go that theory. Now, how much control of celestial bodies do you think we really have? From a
Not
lot,
much.
from a
Not much at all.
from a logical standpoint, how much control of the? I mean, no. And the same holds true with the creation side, young Earth theory. Okay, if you go with that, there's some religious bodies that say Earth's only 6,000, maybe 7,000 years old, depending on their timeline, how they frame that. So okay, we've been around 6,500 years, 6,500 years. That's still not enough time to do any type of major climatary changes. Yes, we shape our environment in the physical by building and tearing things down and all of this business, but I don't think we as humans are strong enough to control what a celestial body does, what a cosmic body does. That would be like saying that we can control a high or a low tide when it's been proven that high and low tides are clearly determined by whether or not you have a full moon or not.
Yeah, yeah, it would be ridiculous
I
to be
mean,
ridiculous to say that we have a huge impact on that kind of a thing.
right. So, and they already told you, they tell you this all the time when you read something. If there's high sunspot activity, then that means the sun is more active, which means that it's going to be hotter. If there's low sunspot activity, then it's going to be cooler. It's still going to give out all of that heat, but it's technically cooler because it's not just like going crazy up there, throwing out everything. Um, so what what does my SUV, what does your truck, what does your friend's truck have to do with what the sun is doing? Zero.
Nothing. Yep.
Absolutely nothing. So you could drive as many electric cars as you want to, electric toy cars as I call them as you want to. That's not going to change the temperature of the sun. It's still going to be hot in the summer, and it's still going to be cold in the winter.
Yep.
So those control mechanisms are really just a means by which to we're the carbon that they want to get rid of.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's when it gets to the final stage of considering all these things where you're like, what is their real plan here?
and here's the problem with that from an economic standpoint. Okay, if the human species, because apparently you all see yourself as they see themselves as above the human species for some reason. Don't know how that works, but let's just go with that. So if you get rid of all of the plebs, as it were, or you limit the number of plebs that are out there, that limits the amount of profit that you're going to make on your products. Especially if no one can work and no one can if no one can work, then no one can buy what you're selling. So therefore you end up hurting yourself. Regardless of how much fake currency you give them in their accounts, like you would give a child an allowance. These if if everything is priced out of their range, then they can't buy it anyway. So
Yeah.
what good is your money, be it paper or digital? It's worth
Yeah.
because it's not circulating enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If the consumers can't, if there isn't a consumer base, you're not going to make stuff and not make as much profit. Not Yeah, but that just goes to show you that their motivations aren't even money. It's still control, still and more maleficent, more evil forces. I think there are those of us who worship life, you and me among them, and there are those of us who worship the other thing, and those are some evil motherfuckers. There's no other way of putting it.
You
If
you
you're not on Team Life, you're lost, boy. You are lost, and they are. They're lost in darkness, and they don't even know which way's up now. I think some of them are so far gone, so deep into the system, they don't understand what it's costing them. Not even costing the rest of us. It's they don't get it. They don't get it at all. No.
it's kind of
And
like
on. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna bring it to I was going to try to bring it just into the Taiwan situation and get some of your opinions on that and what you think Pelosi's doing, what you think the greater powers are doing with this whole Taiwan situation. But I'll let you finish your point if you want before we get into that.
I'm gonna put my kufi on with this one, my imaginary kufi, tinfoil hat, whatever you want to call it. I think they're just gonna get the brain trust out of there.
Mm, just get the intellectual side of things out of there.
Get the brain trust out of there, and they're gonna screw the people who are left. If I
Yeah.
had, if I had,
Hong Kong 2.0 type of thing.
mm-hmm, they're gonna get the brain trust out of there. Put them like over in Hawaii or something, California or Arizona or somewhere. They're gonna put them. They're gonna take care of them, but the people themselves, because they don't care about the people. They're fodder. They're just whatever. So they're setting up everything to just get the brain trust out. All the bankers, you know,
Tech people.
all the people who build things, and they're gonna do Operation Paperclip 2.0. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna.
Yep. For those of you who don't know,
Oh, let's not
that
go.
is that's when we pulled all the Nazi intellectuals out between us and the Russians, right? Right? I'm remembering that correctly.
We'll let the viewers who watch this go and look that up themselves,
Fair
because
enough. Fair enough.
we'll let them go and look that up themselves. Um, but yeah, I think they're just gonna pull out all the smart people and anybody who's useful. They're gonna get them out of there, and then they may even just go hop them right over into Japan. Because
Mm,
closer, um, and it won't be as um, conspicuous. It'll look better from a political standpoint. They just moved them to Japan. Japan will be like, all right, cool, y'all are bringing more brain power to us. That's fine. Hey, we'll take them. They're actually useful. But
yeah.
anybody who's not useful, or they deem to be not useful, they're done. They're done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because
Do
that's
you think it'll be as bloody as the Ukraine situation, or do you think it'll go over a little bit quicker?
um I think it'll be very savage because the
I
because
think so too. I think the most of the Taiwanese people, not the intellectual, 0.1% or upper class, but the majority of the Taiwanese people are very proud, very much, ready to die for their freedom and their country. And hopefully we don't have to see them do it. We're already seeing way too many Ukrainians, get taken out by this thing. But um, yeah, and that the death machine, the death military industrial complex is gonna rake in the galleons. To throw a Harry Potter nerdy reference in there.
this is, in my opinion, and I'm probably absolutely wrong about this. Honk honk. Um, I think it's they'll get the brain trust out. Leave. They'll get teachers and doctors and lawyers and those are those types of individuals who bring something to society. Um, they'll they'll get them out of there. They'll try and figure out how to do that. They won't be able to get everybody. They definitely won't be able to do that. Uh, so the when the red dragon does decide to make that move, then what will be put before us as Americans will be something along the lines of, we've got to help the Taiwanese people. We really don't have a choice, but they've gotten all the valuable assets out first. Or they won't even say that. You'll just see it on TV, and we'll be looking at Joe Beasy like, dude, really? The people who haven't thought that far ahead will be like, wow, okay. But considering the fact that his administration clearly does not care about approval ratings or anything along those lines, how much the whole idea is to make the a certain segment of the American population suffer as much as they possibly can for as long as they can. That's the ultimate goal. If you weren't Team Blue, they want you to suffer. They want you to pay with. I mean, since they and this goes into some other things, but they want you to suffer because they.
Speaking of speaking of suffering and them wanting them to suffer, what's been your take on the whole Ukraine situation? Do you think? Well, yeah, just what's been your take on that? Our response to that? Do you think? I'll,
I'm
hmm,
gonna put it to you real
I'll,
simple. I don't have to say anything more than this. Um, you know what a laundromat is?
mm-hmm,
Okay. You know what a washing machine does?
yeah,
Okay. That's and I'm gonna say
hmm,
it's Lincoln, it's Washington, it's Franklin and Jefferson. They're getting a cleaning job right now. That's that's
yeah.
that's what's going on over there.
There's some laundry being taken care of over there.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's some laundry being done. Lots of laundry. Lots of laundry. See,
All
uh,
right. All right.
lot.
Well, let's redirect this into something a little bit more palatable. Tell me a bit about your bodybuilding experience back in the day. I know I'm taking you way back, but I'd love to know more about it, man.
Uh, well, I mean, I delved into that on a live a while ago, and like I said, you know I got into weight training. Let's see, how was I, about 17 or so, and I initially did it. No, 17 or 16. Wow, so long ago. I'm having a hard time remembering, but I initially got into weight training because I wanted to get better at Taekwondo because that was, I like martial arts. I still like martial arts to this day. Um, but I got into that because I wanted to do that better. I wanted stronger kicks, stronger punches. And I knew that weight training was a means by which to do it. And I didn't discover the bodybuilding aspect of things until I got into college.
Hmm.
And because, I couldn't do the Taekwondo thing because you had to go to a studio and train and blah blah. You're on a car, so I was like, all right, well, what can I do? Okay, well, they got a gym on campus. Well, I'll just continue there, and I'll just continue working out there, and then I'll just try and figure it out from that point.
Were
And
you pretty lean back in those days naturally, or was it a bit of work to get yourself lean enough for a show?
it'll work. And so I'm not a guy who's just like lean natural. I have to work at it a lot. Um, I have to make sure I'm not eating bad food because I can pack on the pounds. So I have to be careful.
I
Um,
can relate.
so And so that led into something else. So I got into that. I got a car, so I was able to drive around town a little bit. Found a gym, your typical Gold's Gym. That was like one of the few gyms they had in the city at the time. There were very few. There's like a billion of them now. Um, over the past 20 years, I'm just like, there's too many. There's too This is insane. You don't need this many facilities, but based off of the population size, maybe you do. But I got into that. Um, did that for a couple of years.
How
And
many shows did you do?
well, considering I was in college and I was poor, couldn't do too many. Um, I let's see.
You've done infinitely more than I have, so
Well,
don't talk so much shit on yourself, bruh.
I'm trying to think. I mean, let's see. I attended one just to see how it worked. I didn't do any stage work. So that one doesn't count. I think maybe two. Maybe,
Two? Okay.
yeah.
Right on. What was your what kind of weight were you walking on stage at?
I was still, a little guy, I was 185, 200. Because college, you ain't got,
Yeah.
you're doing this on tuna and ramen and, you know, doing your cardio by walking around campus and doing treadmill when you can find one that's open in the gym. So I mean, like you're doing the best you can with what you got.
That makes sense, man. That makes sense.
You're
Um,
not gonna.
what do you walk around at now? About
I got on the scale recently. Like I said, I'm not in the shape that I would like to be in. To be honest with you, I need to get back into it. That has to do with the business trauma. I had to take a break, a significant break from myself to get things going the way I needed them to be. I sit about 265 right now. I,
okay.
I got into powerlifting just because I kind of lean more in that direction. Um, and I never got a chance to compete with it because I was so busy focusing on developing other people. It was always
Well,
about.
it's never too late, man. With the powerlifting stuff,
Oh, I
you
know.
could easily be competing until you're,
Old guy.
especially because now I'm gonna brag or not brag. I'm gonna flatter you a little bit right now and just say you look easily 10 years younger than you are. Easily.
I
And
appreciate.
you still have a youthful energy about you, and most importantly, you've got the frame for it. You've got the muscle mass. You're not like a skinny old man withering away, so if you made sure you took care of your joints, you made sure you trained like not like a dumbass, you could
that.
definitely still do it, man. I that's
That
what I'm looking at. I'm looking at jiu-jitsu and powerlifting the next 2 years, and over the next 3 months I'm going to be trying to trim down. I've never really focused on that ever before. So it'll be interesting to see if when that's my goal. I've been doing a lot of body weight stuff, just push-ups, body weight squats, high reps. I did 500 body weight squats the other day. I did 10 a minute for 50 minutes. My legs are still destroyed. That was a few days ago, but I've been building and trying to build up, sort of using that sort of pure, that sort of those parameters of X number of push-ups per minute for X number of minutes, X number of body weight squats, and as I get those reps up and up and up, I'll be able to lean out, I think, a lot more and still maintain some functional strength and stuff. But I've been carbing it up, so I'm probably still. I walk around. I'm at least 285. I might even be 3 bills right now. I'm a thick boy, but I'm eager to trim down. When I was in my best shape ever, I was 235, 15, 16 years old, football conditioning to the max, and I could keep up with the with the running backs, keep up with the tight ends, keep up with the linebackers, with the conditioning side of things, despite being, you know, 5'7", 235. Um, it was
Okay.
pretty good back in the day. I'm looking forward to getting back close to that weight again. I'm sure my joints will be very happy.
Well, see, that's the other side of it. When I was doing, you know, when I was doing, powerlifting just for my own whatever, just yeah, that, you know, I reached kind of like genetic limit on what my body could handle. So I kind of know where my ceiling is, and along the way, yes, I tried to protect my joints, but it didn't go as well as you would think. Um, so I'm I'm now a little bit more cognizant. Like I said, I got a wealth of knowledge on things, so I can definitely. Um, you've seen the movie. What's the movie? Kickboxer. I know you've seen the movie Kickboxer.
I have not actually. I
You
have not. I'll put that on the list.
you've not seen the movie Kickboxer. Oh, all right, yeah, okay. Well, that's with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's from 1989, I think. Um, and they made some sequels, but they were done without him, so they weren't as good. So you want to
I
look,
think I've seen clips from that
you
before.
watch it, and I will say this. Based off of the conversations that you've had with me, um, you'll go, oh, okay, I know exactly what character you are, what type of person you are with it. Um, so that's where I am now. That's why I mentioned about teaching,
Yeah.
than doing, going. I've always liked to teach. I kind of developed a love for it. But I mean, if I did it, I'd probably be probably good at it. But I enjoy watching other people just like, I say, okay, well, if you do that, then do it this way and do it that way. Well, how you know? Because, I sit in the lab and I study this stuff, you know? Like, I did martial arts. I was very good at it. So, like, when I run into somebody who says that they take martial arts or they whatever, and they want to show me everything that they can do or what they would do, I ask them, well, why are you doing that? Well, that's what I was taught to go. I understand this, but why? Why do you want to do all of the extra stuff? There's no need to do all that extra stuff. Well, because you have to do. No, 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 no. If you're trying to, the whole goal of defending yourself is to neutralize the target, right? So neutralize the target. Mike Tyson, one punch it.
Yeah.
They're like, huh?
Yep.
They're like, well, what? What if one punch doesn't work? I said, it's where you hit that matters, not the fact that you actually hit them. It's where you hit that matters.
Yep.
So you have to, like they say, when you're shooting something center mass, same principle applies. Okay, well, vulnerable points on the body. Usually, it's going to be, you know, I won't go into that. We'll get
Liver, sternum, ribs, obviously, chin.
doing jujitsu, right? So that's using the person's energy against them. That's throws. That's grappling. A lot of that's involved in that. So if you're going to throw somebody off of you, then I'm looking at that and I'm going, well, shoot, I need to throw you into something.
Mm,
I don't need to just throw you on the ground. You're going to be able to get up. I need to throw you
yeah.
into something.
Yeah.
So if I can throw you into the edge of a wall, the corner, the point of a wall, the wall does my work for me.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
throw you the side of a
Fair
building,
point.
smack it with the side of your head, and you go, and you're done. I didn't do anything. The wall did it. I was just a facilitator of the action.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um, yeah. Yeah. It's really cool that intersection between like traditional martial arts and the way we think about it and the way we or not traditional martial arts, sorry, just martial arts, the way we think about it, training it in the enclosed, safe environment. But when it's real world application like that, it's a much different game. Much different game.
right. And when you know violence, you don't like to do violence.
Yeah, I've never been in a real fight and actually thrown a punch. Um,
Oh, you've never been in a real fight? What?
I've been in a few real fights, but I haven't thrown a real punch. Whenever I've been in those situations, grappling has been my go-to just to control the situation, get a control of the person. And one of those times I got cracked. That's overselling it. He hit me. I didn't get cracked. I had pinned him to the ground and I had one of his arms under control and I had the rest of him under control. And I was just trying to tell him, dude, stop the bullshit, fucking calm down. I was calling him bitch and all this stuff. I was being a tough guy. And from underneath, he just went pop right here, and it just pissed me off. And I just pinned his arm down. And he was he was a scumbag, so I should have beat his ass, but I didn't. It's not in my nature. I don't like hurting people anyways. But on top of that, I was taught for better and mostly for worse at a young age that because I was a stronger fellow, if I did not hold myself back, I could potentially really hurt someone. And that put it in my head that I can't just let it go. I can't just let the beast fucking have his day. And so it led to me being a little bit more timid and a little bit more afraid in those dynamics of being physical. It actually led to me not standing up for myself in some situations when I was in high school and stuff and being bullied. There's just asshole friends that shouldn't have been my friends in the first place, but I didn't have any self-esteem in those days, so I put up with it. But anyways,
You were afraid of what you might do. You have been
yeah,
told to be afraid of what you might do. So you got nerfed early.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep. And that's
Yeah.
not good. Not good for a young man. You
No.
gotta, you gotta feel. You gotta let that beast go. I think all men intrinsically we know that there's that thing in us that just wants to be a rampaging monkey and just fucking smash anything in our way. And you gotta let it go, then dial it in, and then have it ready to go and in control. But when the shit hits the fan, you want to be the first one swinging. You don't want to be the one waiting, counter punching. You don't want to be the one trying to find grappling in a multi-person fight. You want to just get after it and start swinging first.
Well, it's kind of like something happened to me when I was a kid. You get bullied and whatnot. Yes, I had the same thing, and I told someone this story, and they were like, "What? That's weak." And I told them, I said, "In rules, there are no fights. There are no rules in fights. There are no rules. There are no rules. You do what you can." And it's like
Mm.
11 years old, and this guy was like maybe 14 or so. He's bigger than me, and um, put me in a headlock, and I asked him to let me go. I'm just, like I was like, let me go, blah blah. And so I bit him right on his rib cage. I ain't let go until I felt that warm, salty taste. And it was through a shirt. I was in there, man, like, you know, and so, you know,
Yep.
and
That's why you don't. That's why you don't create those scenarios or those kinds of fights
right,
in the first place, and you don't get yourself in that situation because you don't know what someone's going to do. People think there's like you said, people think there's the rules of this, that, and the other in honor. No, when it's you or that person, and you can't control the dynamic, or in your case, you were in a inferior,
yeah,
strategic position.
yeah,
You do what the fuck you got to do. You grab them by the nuts. You fucking, gouge their eyes out. All the things that are illegal in the UFC. That's your first move.
yeah. So the thing about it is, it's like, oh, well, I'm like, dude, I was 11 years old. You're making this sound like I was, in my 20s or 30s or something when that happened. And even then, even now, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm in a situation when I'm okay, well, I'm gonna bite you. If that's all I
Yep.
got left, I'm gonna bite you. You wanna know why? Because when you bite somebody, they let go.
That's true. That's
It's,
true.
they don't like it. There's a primal instinct that says, "Hold up, wait a
That
second,
ain't right.
that's not."
Retreat.
I like, I could lose a piece of myself right now,
Yeah.
so I don't want to take that risk. I'm gonna let go
Yeah.
because because that's why it's called ripping and tearing, because you get in there deep enough and you just yank back just like a dog would. You can pull a whole lot of stuff out on somebody. Like,
Did you see that? Did you see that video of the monkey biting the dude's scalp, and he ripped a piece of his scalp back? That was some disgusting, violent shit. Go check out that trigger warning. Go check out that video at your own peril. But a strip, like all the way back here, just fucking rip that shit back. Grabbed it here and then just whew. And like you're never healing from that. You're gonna look freaking retarded for the rest of your life, man. Like
yeah,
that, it's gonna leave a giant scar. So that's yeah. You got to be careful, man. You can't, and that's why I like grappling, and when it's a one-on-one situation, and I feel like I can control the guy. Pretty much, if the guy's 6'4", 250 and down, I'd feel pretty comfortable being able to control the man in a grappling situation enough to not be in danger. There was this one situation where I was sleep deprived and made a kind of a crappy comment, joke, whatever. I don't think it was. I think it was fine, but everyone else's view of things is different than mine. But putting that aside, I was working nighttime, gas station, 2 a.m. Right before a smoke break, I was just looking for the next prime time that I could get. And this lady came in. She had a Buck Cherry shirt on. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Buck Cherry. Their two most famous songs are Too Drunk and Crazy Witch, but not the other one, not Witch, but with a B.
yeah,
And my joke about that, and I say this to everybody, is when you listen to that band, you're either getting into a fight or you're getting naked. Those are the only two things you do when you're doing with that. She did not like that comment. She went and told her 6'2", 220-pound Samoan or Tongan or whatever boyfriend that I made some untoward comment. So I went out. So I assumed everything was done. They did the gas or whatever. I go out and I have a video of this somewhere deep in my stuff. Hopefully, I still have it somewhere. I went out front, was chilling right outside the entrance, lit up, started smoking my thing. And then I could just tell vaguely, but I was kind of doing my own thing, that someone was walking up. And then he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, bro, what's your problem? What's going on?" And I was like, "What?" And then he, boom, popped me a jab right to the face. And I like woke up. It was 2 a.m. and I was working 85-hour weeks at that time. And it basically woke me up, but I didn't quite know how to respond. That instinct to fight back is delayed in me, so I just took the shot and was like, "What?" And then I got a little angry. I was like, "What the fuck? What the hell are you doing, man?" Blah 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 blah. And
right.
then he popped me again. Both times I was unfazed, and he's not a small guy. But the second time I was like, "Okay, I can't just freaking sit here anymore." Started chasing after him, and he just took off. I got a little bit of a hold of him. I got like his arm and a little bit of his midsection around the back and tried getting a hold of him. And then as soon as I was like kind of going at an angle and he took off a different angle, so I kind of lost my grip on him. And then he just took off to the car and took off and was gone. He didn't come back, and everything was fine. But you never know. You never know with those situations. But yeah, with him, even though he was a big dude, taller than me, about 6'2", 200 plus pounds easily. Not a thick dude, but a big dude. And I was still able to handle myself pretty well, just because I'm short, but I'm a natural heavyweight. I was 203 pounds at 12 years old. So and so it was just very normal. But anyways, yeah, so that's a fun story. And yeah. Yeah. I don't like fights. I don't like violence. It's not my cup of tea.
No, it's not the move. You should avoid violent confrontations as much as you can. I mean, I don't know if you follow Tim Pool?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well he put up a video on his what is it? Twitter. Yeah, it's on his Twitter. Um, I'm charging up my phone. I had it resting on my computer, but I had to charge it on, so I'm just holding it in my hand right now. Um, but there was a guy, it's like Las Vegas or something. Guy jumped across the counter, and you know, the rooftop Korean action happened for that guy who jumped across. The guy who he had a Bowie knife. The person who was working there had a Bowie knife,
Jeez.
and he just, I mean, he lit into that dude. I mean, he caught him in the leg, he caught him in the arm, he caught him in the upper back, he
Dang.
hit him in the neck. I mean, he was just going nuts, just boom, boom. And the dude was like, I'm dying, I'm dying. I'm like, no, you're being stabbed and you might die.
You might die. For
You might
real.
die. But I
Oh
mean,
man.
I think he hit, when he hit him in the neck, he hit him. I want to say, it looks like he hit him in the low cervical spine, like he severed that joker.
Oh shit.
Like he went in there, and it was like right here. He went down
Ooh.
in an angle, so I know he hit, and he hit him, and I mean he hit him real. I know he hit something. I was like, ooh. But you play dumb games, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Played
Absolutely.
played the worst game ever because he didn't. I don't think he knew that guy had anything. You can go look it up.
I'll
Ian
check it. I'm definitely gonna check it out after this. I want to see that.
Ian Miles Chong has it on his page too.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
All right. One more thing.
mm-hmm.
It'll be our final piece here, and then we'll head out.
Okay.
Um, and if you don't have anything to say on this, then we'll just leave it there. But what tips and tricks do you have for men of all ages to increase their testosterone from the training indoor supplement nutrition standpoint? None of the Mexican supplements, none of the no 3 milliliters of this, that, and the other thing. But do you have any tips for us?
If you partake in that, I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people say they do, but I don't.
Yeah,
Especially get older. Once you've had, your 40s or your 50s or whatnot, TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, is actually something that you should look into. When
I
you're
absolutely agree.
younger, when you're in your 20s or something, nah, don't worry about that. Eat, eat your red meat. Don't be crazy with it. Eat your eggs. Don't be crazy with that either, but eat your eggs. Do your squats, do your deadlifts, take your vitamins. Um, train smart. Try not to let your ego get too in front of you. Um, and that's about it, really. Because when you're in your 20s, your test level is going to be really high anyway. Between 15 and 30, your testosterone level is going to be at ridiculous levels. So use it to your advantage, and just eat smart. Don't eat a lot of junk. Um, and I would say even if you are more of a slender guy, still don't eat junk just to make up the calorie balance. Still eat good food. You might be able to get away with it a little bit more. You might be able to do a 70-30, 70% clean, 30% dirty if you're a leaner guy, smaller frame guy, trying to put on some size. If you're mid
But
frame,
it's still not best for your health.
but it's not best for your health. No, no, it is not. Um, and as you want to try, you don't want to get into that habit. So I would say 80-20. 80% of the time, eat clean. 20% of the time, you can mix it up a little bit. 80-20 rule. Seems to be most sustainable. Now, the minute you start going into like competition, if you decide to go that far, it's not that far of a leap to go 85-15, 90-10, 95-5. You can make those 5% jumps in discipline a lot easier because you already have the majority of things under control. So it's and you can monitor it at those 5% increments as you get closer to your contest, your meet, your weigh in for football or basketball or baseball or hockey. If you're at 80-20, it's a lot easier to meet weight for those teams, for those
All right.
for sports. Even MMA to hit your weight cuts. If that's what
Mm-hmm.
you're doing, it'll be easier to do if you're 80-20 most of the time, and then it's like, okay, well, 5% increase here, 5% increase there, 5% increase there. Bam, I'm already there, and it won't
Yeah.
take work to do. So that's my final tip. Um, if if you want to do this again in a couple of weeks, let me know. Or in a month, however you want to do it, let me know. I'll see what I can do for you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It was a great conversation as always. I always enjoy talking to you, man. And yeah, because I'm getting back into it, I can't really give a firm. I don't have a firm sense of that time in my, but I will have you back.
That's
We will
fine.
all look forward to having you back. And good luck with everything you're doing, man. I know it's not easy to reboot things, so I know you're in a rougher patch of things, but I know you'll find your way.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
all right,
I've had a lot of support and a lot of help with that, and I'm very thankful for that. But
that's
we'll get
awesome.
into that. We'll get into that. Um, we'll
Off
get into
camera.
that. Yeah, we'll get into that in the future. We'll get into that in the future.
Sounds good. All right. Have a good one, man. Thank you
All
again
right.
for coming on. God bless. And stay strong, motherfucker.
Salute, brother. Salute. All right.